Welcome to the GrowRich Podcast by Tech Help Canada, where we share the best online marketing and general business tips. Now for today's host.
Hello, and thank you for joining me today at the GrowRich Podcast. My name is Gabriel Omotorali, and in this episode, we're going to go over why you may want to quit drinking coffee. Now, I will be linking to the source of everything I share today in the podcast episode description or show notes, so you can go check out the reference article and all the studies that are referenced within that article to help you make a full decision whether coffee is for you, whether you want to reduce it, or whether you just want to get rid of it entirely. So if it's not for you, you want to get rid of it entirely. If it is for you, then maybe you want to reduce your intake. So we're going to go over a bunch of stuff today that will help you make that decision. Now, I know this topic might seem like a horror story for some listeners. I mean, come on. Are we asking you to give up your coffee? No, not at all. Today, we're just going over the other side of the coin. What happens when we reduce our caffeine intake or eliminate it entirely? What potential benefits might await us? That's what we're going to be covering today. We're not asking you to quit coffee abruptly. This is about making informed decisions about your health and knowing that you always have options. First off, it's no secret that caffeine offers certain health benefits when consumed, such as boosting our metabolism and potentially reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease. However, reducing or quitting caffeine can potentially provide several other benefits, and that's what this podcast will focus on. Benefit number one, less anxiety. Caffeine can stimulate our fight or flight hormones, which might result in an increase in anxiety, nervousness, and even panic attacks. By cutting down on caffeine, you may be able to reduce these symptoms, especially if you're already prone to stress and anxiety. I can say that in my experience, anxiety was a problem when I was drinking coffee for a really long time. I drink more tea now, which I'm drinking right now as I'm recording this podcast. And I find tea has less caffeine, which is great. It doesn't affect me the way caffeine does. Like I can go a whole day with no tea and I'm fine. With coffee, when I was drinking coffee daily, I realized really quickly that when I didn't have coffee the next day, my productivity slowed down. Number two, better sleep. Your caffeine habit could be affecting your sleep quality. Studies show that daily coffee intake can cause relentless sleep and daytime drowsiness. By reducing your caffeine intake, you could potentially improve your sleep quality. Number three, more efficient absorption of nutrients. So apparently, caffeine can potentially inhibit the absorption of certain nutrients like calcium, iron, and B vitamins. By reducing your caffeine intake, you can improve your nutrients absorption, making the most out of your diet. Number four, healthier and whiter teeth. This is a big one. Coffee and tea are notorious for staining teeth. Also, the acidity in caffeinated drinks can lead to enamel wear and decay. Reducing caffeine intake can help keep your teeth healthier and whiter. Number four, balanced hormones for women. So according to studies, caffeine can alter estrogen levels, which can be concerning for women with an increased risk of certain conditions. Reducing caffeine can potentially help to balance hormones in women. Number six, lower blood pressure. Caffeine can raise blood pressure in some individuals. Not everyone, of course. Cutting it out can potentially lead to lower blood pressure, especially in people who are sensitive to caffeine. Number seven, balanced brain chemistry. Caffeine has an impact on mood, and going without it for a while can help avoid these ups and downs, eliminating the risk of dependency, essentially. I can attest to this. I know that when I was drinking coffee a lot, because of the amount of caffeine that is in coffee versus the amount of caffeine that is in tea, when I was drinking coffee, I had situations where if I didn't have my coffee that morning, I just wasn't happy. Like I was just upset for no reason. There was no reason for me to be upset, but I was. My mood just wasn't good. I was in a sour mood if I didn't have coffee that morning. But once I have my coffee, I'm all better again. So definitely that has been my experience. If you have experienced stuff like that, then maybe this will be a factor in your decision making on whether you need the same amount of coffee you're having right now, or whether you should reduce it or get rid of it entirely. Number 8, fewer headaches. Caffeine withdrawal can lead to headaches, and regular intake can also contribute to chronic daily headaches. Reducing your caffeine intake can help to reduce these headaches. So again, my experience actually matches with what they just said here. Which is when I was drinking a lot of coffee, I was fine. But when I quit coffee because I had to quit it for about for 2 weeks. I had to quit it for 2 weeks just so I get my body to reset before I started consuming coffee once in a while. And when I quit coffee, the first day I was getting a headache. Second day I had headaches. Third day I had headaches. It took 4 days before my systems were able to start regulating themselves properly. So headaches are a big one if you quit. And for some people, just drinking coffee in itself will induce headaches. Number 9, a healthier digestion. Some people may find that caffeine irritates their digestive system, and reducing it can lead to improved digestive health. I also experienced this. When I was drinking coffee, sometimes it just didn't feel right. Things just didn't feel right. So it's possible that I was experiencing digestive problems because I am drinking coffee. But I noticed that when I didn't drink coffee, I was mostly fine. Though the digestive problems that I would experience, they would go away in about a couple of hours or so. But I know the first couple of hours when I drink coffee, I would feel it. Now I don't get it anymore because I drink coffee once in a while. So when I do drink coffee, I don't get it. But when I was drinking coffee every day, I noticed that I was experiencing that. Number 10, you may age better. Caffeine interferes with collagen formation, potentially leading to more wrinkles. Reducing caffeine intake could mean healthier skin. I know for some people this is a huge one, and for some people this will be the only reason they need to quit coffee. So, all right, let's move on. So now I want to mention that everyone's body responds differently to caffeine, which I'm sure some of you already noticed just by listening to everything that we've talked about so far. While some may reap benefits from reducing their caffeine intake, others may not notice much of a difference. It's always best to listen to your body and consult with a healthcare professional before making any major changes to your diet. That being said, it's important to note that certain individuals might want to consider avoiding caffeine altogether. That means no tea, no coffee, nothing. This includes individuals who are pregnant, trying to conceive, prone to anxiety, suffering from certain gut or digestive conditions such as acid reflux, gout, or diabetes, or those taking specific medications that might interact with caffeine. Again, it's always best to consult with a healthcare professional before making any significant changes to your dietary habits. So please make sure you do that. Now, if after this discussion, you're thinking about cutting down on your caffeine intake or quitting it altogether, remember the transition might not be smooth. Caffeine withdrawal is real and can cause temporary symptoms like headaches, fatigue, and difficulty concentrating. I experienced all of those when I was quitting coffee for my 2-week phase of resetting my system. But remember, these are temporary, and with time, your body will adjust. As always, moderation is key.